Hey guys, in this third section we're going to look at straight line equations in reference to harder questions that you might face when dealing with line segments, finding the length of those line segments or the midpoints. Okay, for this, what we've got to remember is the straight line equation. Now, you guys did this last year, but you might not remember too well. Y equals mx plus c. Okay, and if you think back, y is just the y point, the y coordinate. M is the gradient of the line. Okay, this could be a positive gradient or it could be a negative gradient. C is the y-intercept, so in other words, where that line crosses the y-axis. Okay, in this question, let's get rid of that. In this question, we're asked to graph y equals negative 2x plus 2. Okay, thinking about our y-intercept first. Let me just get a pen going here. Positive 2 tells us that that line will cross the y-axis at 2. Now, thinking about our gradient, m. In this case, it's negative 2, which means it's going to be something like this. Okay. Now, a way of thinking about negative 2, or any number, is just to put it over 1. Negative 2 divided by 1 is negative 2. Negative 3 divided by 1 would be negative 3, and so on. So, to work out our gradient, all we have to do is to consider that there's 2 rises for every one horizontal movement. So in this case, go up 2, from 2 takes you to 4, across 1 gives you a point there, up 2 and across 1 gives you a point there, up 2 and across 1 gives you a point there. All we have to do now is to connect those points. So I'm just going to get rid of these ones, and I'm going to bring across, if I can, here we are, a line. And if I'm very lucky, I'll be able to move this thing. Okay, and we'll get something like this once it's arranged there properly. Okay, anyway, something like that. This now is our line. Y, let me write that in, y equals negative 2x plus 2, running out of space here. Okay, hopefully that jogs your memory a little bit. Okay, now the sort of question you're going to face in a test would be like this. Let's read the question. Find the distance from the given point, so a coordinate, a set of coordinates, to the given line. In other words, you'll be told to draw a line on a graph. Use the pair of coordinates, the linear equation, and an intersection point in your answer. Intersect just means to cross, so somewhere along that line from here and here, we will be given a point on that line to find the distance between that and the coordinate. So it's kind of a 2 or 3 part question. Let's just pinch that in a bit. Okay, now our linear equation is y equals negative 2x minus 2. So let's just quickly graph that. Negative 2, let's make sure I've got the right pen here. Negative 2 on the y-axis is about there. Excuse my messiness. Negative 2 is the gradient. So that tells us, of course, that our line will be a negative 1. So moving up 2 and across 1 puts a point about there. Up 2 and across 1 gives me a point there. Moving down 2 and across 1 from the negative 2 there, about there. And then, if I wanted, I could draw my line in. Let me just resize the pen and I'll give you a different colour. It's going to be very messy, but it's going to give me a line about there. Okay, now the coordinate that we're given, go back to the black, is 2 and positive 4, so it's about there. The intersection point is negative 2 and 2. Okay, so let's think about this one. Negative 2 and 2 is just lost my pointer here, is there. -2 and 2. So in other words, we want to find the distance, let's do a different color again, between -2 and 2, and that's very messy, and that line there. So what is the distance of that line? We know distance of a line segment, let's just zoom in. Okay, C equals square root of x2 minus x1. Let's make that a bit smaller. Plus the difference between those y points, y2 minus y1. Going back to video 1 now. C will equal, okay, just zoom in a bit here. Okay, now the intersection point, let's make this one x1, so -2. The coordinate is 2. So in other words, we've got 2 and -2. So square root again, 2 minus -2, all squared, plus the difference in our y coordinates, which we have 2 and 4. If we're going to go in the same order though, we would do the 4 first and then the 2 second. So 4 minus 2 all squared. C then will equal square 2 plus 2. Remember, the negative and negative is positive, so 2 plus 2 is 4. 4 squared plus, in the side, 4 minus 2 is 2, and squared of course. C then will equal 16 plus 4, so C will equal the square root of 16 plus 4, which is 20. And when I just quickly reach my calculator, that gives us an answer. Just a second. Okay, sorry, should be more organized. Square root of 20 is 4.47. So my final answer, C equals 4.47. C approximately equals 4.5 if I was to round up. Okay guys, this is our answer. 4.5 is the distance between this point and this point. All we've asked to do in this case was to draw a straight line, given our knowledge of straight line equations. We are told an intersection point, which is here, and we're given the original coordinate of which to find the distance between that and the line. Hopefully this helps, and this is the last video in this series. Thank you.